Welcome to the NXT Podcast, your home for weekly NXT reviews and insight.
The beautiful part of NXT is that when one dream ends, another dream begins.
Find all of your NXT news, recaps, and analysis right here. So with that being said, we only have one question for you.
Are you ready?
We thought so. Let's get the show started right now.
All right, everyone. This is Memphis Mark coming to you from Mullet Manor. And we're going to do an NXT review for August 8th. And it's getting ready for the next premium event, which will be Heatwave. And, you know, they start off with their little promos, which, you know, I like there. And they got Dominic and Mummy. And normally I would talk about that. But Gangsta Rey Mysterio rolls up in a Rolls Royce. I mean, Gangsta. Just him and Dragon Lee roll up looking all fine and dandy, dripping, and I mean, just wow. I really liked the way it started off, and Ray's coming in being like the elder statesman, dropping advice bombs everywhere. Just I loved it rolling up, and then they go into a match immediately with Axiom and Mustafa Ali. And, you know, Ali says that he's been disrespected for about 60 million years. No, he's been disrespected for about 6 years. And he comes out fired up. And some good moves, because you know what you're going to get with Axiom. You know Axiom is going to give you some high-flying moves. And Mustafa Ali, man, with Gunter and a few other people, he has shown that he can hang in there with anybody. He is a great worker himself. So Axiom and Mustafa Ali, you know it's going to be a good match. And it is. And this is a go-back-and-watcher. I liked it. I liked everybody's timing. The speed was good. It was like main roster speed. This was a good match. I mean, you know, I can't say anything other than that. Man, there's some flips off the turn. I mean, just everything. But they add a little something on the outside with Scripps coming out with the two big men, and yeah, you know, they come out. But what was a little odd in this, and it looked really good, was the finish. The finish was good. It's almost like Mustafa got his hand caught under Dragon Lee's mask, which started to pull it off. And everybody's thinking, what? And then he stops. And he's like, oh, my gosh, I didn't mean, you know, it's inverting, you know, I didn't mean. And then it's just like, hey, look, if you were really going for a title and really going for the money, the pay window, they, you know, as they used to say in the old days, he did what he was supposed to do. And he pushed him off while he's sitting on the top turnbuckle. You know, he pushed him off of there like he was caught off surprise. It looked really, really good. You know, that's a heck of a drop. Mustafa brings him back in, puts the 450 splash on him, and gets the win. But I liked it. Good match. You know, the scripts coming out. I don't know, you know that. But then he lets everyone know after the match, Mustafa lets everyone know that whoever wins tonight's match with Dragon Lee and Dominic, that he's in line for that North American title. And then they go from there to where we have a schism sighting, because you know, they are ticked. They're ticked. They're looking for the Creed brothers. They lay a bunch of people out, and they're hollering for whoever can tell them where the Creed brothers. It's one of those search and destroy deals, an old school kind of deal. I liked it. And then you're going to have Kiana Jordan. Miss Jordan is Dana Brooks' protege. And she comes out and does a match. She calls out Blair Davenport. Yeah, it's the gymnast. The gymnast trying to be a wrestler, not a gymnast that happens to be a wrestler, or a gymnast that is now, or I don't know how. But anyway, not the good side of the gymnast that I normally speak of. Not the Tiffany Stratton side of it. This should have been more of a schooling than it was, but it was a schooling by Blair Davenport. That's right. I'm sorry. I don't even know if I got that far. I was still, Blair looks good. I think they should have let her bully a little more in here and made it more of a squash match myself. But they didn't. They let them roll around. They give Miss Jordan a few chances, but she looks she's slow. Her moves were just her timing's off. Is all it is. I'm sure. Working at everyday workouts, I'm sure she's pulled these moves off. But today, under the limelight, in the main spotlight, she did not. 2 or 3 times. But like third match, so I'm not going to jump down anybody. It's just it made Blair look bad a little bit. And Blair was trying to make her look good. It just didn't go. And then for some reason they have Dana Brooke with a belt afterwards chasing Blair, and okay. And they do a Von Wagner, Mr. Stone promo with her. He's calling out Braun. And he's got a shirt on that says something to the effect of, "You're going to get tabled." So we'll see how that goes. I don't know if I'd pick on someone like that, but I'm not as big as Von Wagner either. So from there, we have the Heritage Cup Championship match. Oh, no, it's the fake one. Okay, so we have the fake Heritage Cup champion. Okay. Anyway, it's Metaphor with Noam Dar going against Tyler Bate. And you know what you're going to get with Tyler Bate. He's always good. Just, you know what you're going to get. And Noam is growing on me in spurts. I don't like so much the way this is being done, but I'm watching it and I'm talking about it, so it ain't so bad. But he has some good kicks and some good striking ability. He every once in a while he goes into a stance that I've been around enough fighters to know that he must do some training like that. But and he does a spinning elbow that just. The timing was so good with Tyler. It looked just fantastic. And even Mr. Bate, the big strong boy, he did one of just like everybody else does, jumps over the top rope and jumps down on his opponent down on the ringside area. Well, this dude got so high that FAA may fine NXT. It really, just for that, him jumping over, I almost would go back and watch this again. And, but he wins a fall. There's like no winner the first fall. He wins a second, I think, or the third. And then there's no winner. And then it's, he twists his knee. So he got a tweak of the knee. And, so Noam takes advantage of it, puts him in a leg bar for a good long time, because he's the big, strong boy. And, so he eventually has to tap out. But then, Mr. Bite ends up getting another win, so he wins the fake cup. It's like getting kissed by your sister. I mean, I don't know what the heck to say. Mensa jumps up in there and tries to help at some point, but he gets knocked down. So all of Metaphor gets involved, and Tyler doesn't have anyone in his corner too. Now, this is not the greatest. I'm not going to say, this, but, if you're going to watch the last match, might as well watch this one. So, so Tyler wins the fake Heritage Cup trophy thing. Looks like a very bad 1970s coffee table or something to that effect. I don't know, but and then they go to a promo with Hank and Tank, and Hank and Tank are talking, and they've come up with a name, and they're gonna really take off, and Schism shows up with a lot of extra schisms. It was a lot of those people with them masks on, them little funny masks, and they surround them and then kick the crap out of them. So Schism is still looking for the Creed brothers and taking everyone out in their path. We got a promo after that with Dragunov, and man, Dragunov looked really dapper. Good tailored suit. Looked very stunning there, sir. Like a gentleman. And he was telling everyone that, especially Trick Willie, that he will take care of business. And then they got one more quick little promo when they're in the locker room. And Mello and Dijak and Wesley are all in there, and pretty much Dijak is trying to lay the thumper down, and Wesley, is going to remind him who Wesley is, but Dijak ends up jumping him when he wasn't looking, and when about the time that Wes is going to handle his business with Mello, Mello gone. He left. So that's the reason Dijak jumped Wes, I guess, because him had left. But then, the dapper Dragunov now goes to the ring, and he's going to call out Trick Willie. This was a good little spot. They're getting ready for Heat Wave, so they're going to get a match for Heat Wave. But, I'm sure they probably told Trick Willie to the perimeters to stay in, but let him. It seems like they gave him a little leash and let him talk a little bit on his own terms, and he did good. And Dragunov didn't seem like he was probably the same way. He's supposed to act mad and insert where needed, but not a bad little promo. Setting it up, I tell you what though, I think Trick could do better, because I think he could do better, but this is not bad. I'm just saying I can see better in Trick very soon. He just is showing up, and he's starting to show off. He does not want to be called a purse carrier, a sidekick, or any of that stuff. So I like the way they're doing it, and eventually on down the road, we got to have a turn. That's where we go from there. And then after that, they've got Gulak and Dempsey doing a little promo with Damian Kemp comes out, and they're pretty much saying that they could whoop anybody, but they got an assistant, Miles. So, throwing a little angle, a little curve into things. So, they're saying they can whoop everyone, and Briggs and Jensen come out and decide that the Wild-Eyed Southern Boys, that they're gonna jump on in there, and they do remind me of the Wild-Eyed Southern Boys. Would never work nowadays, but this would be like a modern day cleaned up version of it. Tracy Smothers, yeah, I could. Tracy Smothers on NXT. That's just funny me even saying it. All right, as they go, well, now they got the Rolls Royce riding gangsta up in here. That is Rey Mysterio, and he's talking to Roxanne and kind of giving her a little advice and everything. And Thea happens to be in there. And when he turns to Thea, she does the appropriate response, like, oh, my God. And he drops a little knowledge on her. But I did notice that Ray and Thea are about the same size. And then Chase and Andre Chase comes out, and Duke, and she drops a line like, hey, he wouldn't throw the towel in on me. So we got that going, but then we're going to have a big match with Braun Breaker going against Von Wagner with Mr. Stone. And Braun's a brute. Braun's just, I can talk about Braun, but everybody knows what Braun is, and he's been consistent on that now. But Von Wagner, timing getting better. Some of the escapes and a couple counters he's doing, it looks a little better. So, I'm a Von Wagner fan. So this match is a pretty good match. But it comes down to a mistake, and Braun gets a big spear and gets the win. But here's what's funny. Von had a shirt on. I can't remember exactly what it said, but it was pretty much that he reserved a table for Braun there. He was going to put him through a table. And so he lost the match. So you're thinking it's over. No, Braun grabs Mr. Stone and is about to lay the smacketh downeth on him. And Von comes out of nowhere. He is rejuvenated, and it fires him up. And he starts laying a thumping on Braun. Throws him to the outside, and hey, what do we get? The prediction comes true, because Von does a pretty good slam of, Von does a pretty good slam of Braun. Just in my head, that sounded like I said the wrong way. But no, Von does a choke slam to Braun through the announcer's table, and it looked pretty good. Looked pretty good. I can see in the future the same thing happening. A few years on down the road, I could see them on the main roster. I could see the same thing happening. I kind of liked it. Yeah, I kind of liked it. And then you got Eddie Thorpe doing a little promo, having to get his head together, putting the tea leaves together, smoking on the peace pipe, I guess, whatever you would say. But he is doing his mind-altering stuff to get ready to forget about what Dijak did to him. And he's coming for Dijak. And look, I like Eddie. His entrance is just freaking fantastic. It just reminds me of my childhood, of some of the people, the Native American, people that decided to use a Native American gimmick, which whether they were or not, but Eddie is, and the people that I knew back when I was young were. So it just seemed like they're, it just seems real the way they come out. And Eddie comes out with like a modern day version of what Chief Jay Strongbow or some of these guys used to come out to. So I'm really liking Eddie Thorpe, and they're setting it up with Dijak. So and then you got Dom and Rhea, having a little promo again. They gotta have all the TV time they can. But Valkyria is in there, and she's saying, "Did you pretty much? I did what you told me to do last week, So hey, so now we're gonna have that Brooks and Jensen match going against Gulak and Dempsey, and Valen Henry, of course, is with Briggs and Jensen, and and Just the mullet on one of those guys just reminded me of Magnum TA. I gotta say, but Gulak and Dempsey come out. They have, they're going to put on a good technical style match and do the little catch-as-catch-can style. And again, Briggs and Jensen are going to come in there like the wild-eyed Southern boys and throw you around and surprise you with some of their moves. But they have that Miles is back, the trainee. And apparently he hands Gulak a towel when he needs a towel, but when Gulak asks for water, he doesn't have any water. So he sends him to the back, and I'm not really understanding any of that. But the match itself is pretty good. Brooks and Jensen have been away from TV time for a while, so I didn't know if there'd be any rust there, but didn't seem to be too bad. And Gulak and Dempsey, even a couple little things that weren't exactly right, they made look good. So that's what they should do. But apparently Damon Kemp doesn't think Gulak and Dempsey are taking him serious about his offer. So he comes on out there and snatches a homeboy up and throws him, and then feeds him to I believe it was Dempsey, and Dempsey gets the pin. We'll see how they're building this up with Kemp. And I'm all for Damon getting more TV time. I did not understand his shirt he had on. I'm sure it's something new. It just had holes, and I don't know. Maybe I'm just not cool like that. A quick little match with Ivy Now and Kiana James. This match is... All right, normally Ivy Now, I would say, keeps getting better. And maybe in this particular deal, they wanted her to look a little off, because she did. But Kiana James comes out just, farting lightning and sneezing thunder. I mean, it just looked good. And the whole match looked, Kiana was definitely the one carrying this match. And Ivy looked a little off and a little slow, and, she's missing the creeds. But then Schism shows up, like 1,900 of them. It's like being in a bad Stones concert or something. I don't know. They all show up, surround the ring like they're trying to get a seance going or something. And of course, that leads to distractions for Ivy, and then Ava even reaches up and tries to reach out and touch someone, and she did, and Ivy got distracted, which is going to leave it wide open for Kiana, and Kiana pulls the win off. But afterwards, Schism gets up in the ring like they're going to throw it. They've got some women under the mask there, and they snatch her up, and it's like they're getting ready to lay the smack up down on her. He's asking her, where are the Creed brothers? And I like the storyline, good little feed all the way through. And Gacy pulled it off, not overdoing it or nothing, And, out of the blue, you hear Tony D's music. So Tony D and Stax come to the rescue. I liked it. I liked everything about it. Even the next promo, they've got two texting, Garza, they got the Latin lovers in here texting with each other, explaining that their grandfather would not like their inner bickering. And, this was a little different, but you got an older, you got a younger, good looking Latin guys out there, doing what they're doing and saying that they're going to get back on the same page. And he do a quick little spot with Tyler Bate and Metaphor, and, they give Noam back the, trophy, and they're going to have a match, or, it's not so bad. If you're watching other stuff, squeezing in. And they've got they got Tiffany Stratton doing a little talk. She's asked a question, and she goes on a tangent about clothes and colors. And, So we'll see how they carry that one on. But then we have the match, the main event. You've got Gangsta Rey Mysterio, Rolls Royce riding, jet flying, modern day masked Ric Flair, I guess you would say. But he comes out and he actually does the introduction for Dragon Lee and sets the whole stage. And of course, a Dirty Dom. Okay, Dominic comes out with Rhea. And you know what? You can say what you want to. Dominic worked good in this match. His kickouts were good. His timing was good. His 619 is so slow, though, because his dad, you can just fly through that rope, and it looks good, especially live. But Dom seems a little slow on that, and he's not. He's just longer. It takes him longer to get around there, so it's not that he's doing anything wrong. He's just that is more of a design move for somebody, maybe a little more aerodynamic than Dom. But hey, look, I liked his match work, and I can't say anything wrong. I want to, but Dragon Lee looked good in this match too, and this is a go back and watch match. Dragon Lee looked good. His timing was good. So nothing I can say bad about the match. The ending, the screw job. They do a good screw job on the ending. Everything was good. And what they do is at the end, Rhea has both the belts and she's sliding one in. Of course, the ref sees that one. Dragon Lee gets thrown towards her. She smacks Dragon Lee upside the head with the belt that she has. And, and it all looked good. It all looked good. Cannot complain. And then after the match was even kind of good. Ray comes out and he's confronting, his boy, his son there. And Rhea steps in like she always does. And in this instance, she's poking Ray and disrespecting Ray, of course. And out of nowhere, here comes Valkyria. And she jumps on Rhea, and she is defending Mr. Mysterio as far as, because Ray can't touch Rhea, so she's going to come in and reach out and touch her. Good ending on the show. And the show is, it's one of those ones that when you get through with it, you go, hey, actually, really, there's nothing that's going to say that it just stands out immediately. But it was an enjoyable show. Even Dijak in there hollering with Wesley and Mello, because he's so much bigger than Wes. And then it's like, and Wes, does good. It was a pretty good show there. I would say this was a solid B show. Maybe a C plus, but I'm going to go with a B. Let's just be brave. So I liked the show. I liked the angles they're setting. They're building their pathway to Heat Wave. And that's what they're supposed to be doing. So everything about this show is exactly what they should be doing. So, all right, well, man, I don't know what else I can say on that except for, man, Ray's Rolls Royce rolling up in there. Man, loved it. I liked the way they presented Ray tonight. They brought him up, like I was kidding around with the gangster style, all dripping. And then, they end up letting him be the father time, the grandpa, the let's give you advice, kids. So, and Dragunov looking all dapper. I like that. Cause he's got to stand up against a guy that's bigger than him, doesn't have a shirt on, that's in better shape, but because he's bigger, but Dragunov has got all the experience. So I liked the elegance factor there. So, But all in all, good show. Go back and watch it, guys. Man, there's not too much more I can add to any of it. So before I screw it up, I might as well end this thing. So, of course, you know how we do it each week. If you can, help some of them shelters out. Foster, do what you can, folks, if you can. And, of course, this is Memphis Mark. And, yeah. Let me check. Yep. I'm out.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.